and welcome back, Warriors, to another episode of What's Your Story? I'm your host, Daniel Fequiere, founder and CEO of Fequiere Fitness, and I just want to thank you all so much yet again, whether if you're joining in live or if you're watching the playback. Thank you so much for just being a part of this journey with me, for watching as far as each and every one of these special guest story, and allowing them to be able to share their story with you on this platform. I just want to thank you all so much for joining in. We have a special guest today. I know you guys are going to love it. I've been talking about this for so long. This guy is like my brother, more than like my cousin. He's going to be joining in actually right now. He is. Yes. So his name is Gesner Florant. I'll let him speak more about himself. Hey, lovely. I see you, gorgeous. How are you doing out there? So pressing for him to go live. As you guys may have saw already a little bit, there he is in the flesh. Yes.
Hey everybody, I'm still spinning a little bit, so
it's all right.
It's waiting to connect, so we should be connected.
No problem, man. You're dapper. You should have told me. I would have dressed up a little bit. I feel naked.
You know, every once in a while I got to dress up for work, so
you got to show them. You got to show them that you can clean up real nice. I like it.
Yeah. So I'm doing well. The internet is it's a little slow for me here, so give me 1 second. Let me see.
No worries. Take your time. As you're getting prepared, let me go ahead and just kind of introduce people to the platform for those who might be joining for the first time. Hey, Michelle, I see you there. So again, for What's Your Story, this is just a show for the everyday people. This allows. There you are. Is it coming in? Hey, Sammy, how you doing?
Yeah, I can't see you, but let's see.
There it is. It's like you said, like it'll show you for a second and it'll freeze on that page. Right. And then I can still hear you though.
Oh, here we are. There you are. Here we go.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So again, good seeing you as well. So I'm just letting people know who might be joining for the first time. What's Your Story is just an everyday show for everyone to be able to join on. Through special guests that comes on and talk, we're able to share advice and tools to be able to help people through life obstacles that they may be dealing with. So that's the whole purpose of this show. We allow people to come on and tell their life story and introduce how they got into the field that they're in and be able to share as far as information with you. Hey, Tamika, thank you for joining on.
Hey,
So right now we have a wonderful guest. I was just telling them before, you're not really like a cousin, you're like a brother to me. So,
yes, sir.
So I'll let people to be able to have an opportunity to know who you are. So please, Gesner, tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do for those who might not know you.
Right. I think we just have a couple of family members so far, so that's good.
Yeah.
So, and I think someone just said Gesner is handsome and intelligent. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think that's
wow. You got cheerleaders already. Tamika, that's sweet.
Hey, Sammy, how we doing? Well, since I know the segment is about 45 minutes to an hour long, so I'm not gonna, take too much time. But just a little bit about me. My name is Gesner Florant. I'm a mortgage banker. More specifically, I'm the market manager for, a smaller bank based out of Memphis, Tennessee. I'm responsible for the South Florida division, starting from Tampa all the way down to the Keys, where I'm the market manager. But my passion in what I do is I do mortgages. I help folks, attain the American dream, and really trying to make it as simple and easy as possible for them, and detwine, if you will, the complication of the mortgage process for people. So that's what I do every day. That's what I help my team. I have a team of loan officers, processors, and other folks that help make the process easy for our clients. So that's pretty much what I do.
I love it. What's going on, Pastor Josh? Hey, Sudem. We got a couple more family members joining on in. I love that. Right. I love that so much, Gesner. So, who or what inspired you to choose this path that you're on?
Man, that's a very interesting question. I know we've had discussion about that before. And I always said I didn't choose this career path. I think it chose me, to be frank with you. And then I'm glad I did. But many years ago, this guy named Rudy Stefanidis, and he's obviously out of Columbus, Ohio, where I moved to Columbus, after high school here in Florida. So my entire professional career really developed and started in Ohio. So I had an opportunity to meet this wonderful guy, and he saw something in me that he thought perhaps could serve me well later on, but help him in the process as well. But
Yes.
again, he saw something in me that was quite remarkable. So he gave me an opportunity to be what's called a junior account executive at the time. This is almost 20 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, when I was
Mhm.
working at Chase, JP Morgan Chase. And really that's where it started. And he helped me to believe in myself. And there were so many other folks, including Sam, who's actually on the live right now, who pretty much contributed towards, my growth in the process and in helping me in this career path. And again,
Mhm.
it's been a passion, but the inspiration truly came from that. It's seeing how those guys work and their dedication to helping clients, and I
Wow.
say, wow, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I've been doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
Mm.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Hey, good
Yeah.
morning, Dr. Harrison. Thank you for joining on. I love that. Like, it always seems exactly how you said. It's never necessarily you that just kind of, falls into the path that you're supposed to, the purpose.
Right.
It's always somebody like, hey, you look like you could fit in this type of
Right. Right.
opportunity. Like, you look like you can do this well. It was the same as
Absolutely.
far as with my journey and much
Yeah.
more people that I know. It was never necessarily them because it's almost where my wife always talks about it like you almost have like an imposter syndrome. Like, oh, okay, you know what? I don't think I can really do that. That looks like too much for me. I can probably do this route, but then that person has to let you know, no, you're just as capable. You and I are
Right.
just the same. There's no difference
Absolutely.
between you and I. We both can do the exact same thing. And look at you
Absolutely.
now. It's like something where you're professional. You got your desk
Right.
behind you, the beautiful picture. Like you are that American dream right now.
Man,
And what I
thank you. I
love
appreciate that.
most about you is the fact of like how humble you are. You're not someone who's like, I'm greater than thou. You are someone who allows people to understand, like, the knowledge of what a mortgage can do, of what having a home can do for you and your
Right.
family. Like you said, that
Absolutely.
American dream, everybody comes here and they're looking for all these opportunities. And by just getting a home, that can already put you above someone else just by having a home itself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk a little bit like how you were telling me the math breakdown. Like that was so
Yeah.
amazing when you
Yeah.
told me
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the question that you mentioned, what is your story? And in this instance is not so much my story, the one that we
that.
discussed before. It's the story of the folks that I work with on a daily basis, right? Rather
Yeah.
if it's someone that I personally work with or somebody on my team engage with. The stories are just incredible. But in this particular
Yes.
case, there's this young guy, I would say about 4 years ago, right, who came in my office and he'd been turned down. He had been turned down by a few folks before, and mainly because of his credit, and mainly because folks trying to make the process a lot more complicated than it truly
Yeah.
is. So he came to me and I said, look, here's what we're going to do, and I kind of put a plan together for him. He wasn't quite ready yet, right? Now
Mhm.
this is a guy who has a regular job, wasn't making a whole lot of money. He didn't have a
Mhm.
lot of money saved either, right? But I told
Mhm.
him what to do. So within about 3 months, and by the way, if you ever see this guy or talk to him or hear him talk about me, you think like I'm the most special thing in the world, which I'm not. But but the way he talk about me, sometimes my wife say, "Is he talking about you?" Because like sometimes we talk when she's around, and he'll send clients over. It's like I'm the best thing since sliced bread. And to be
I
honest
love
with you,
it.
yeah. But what I did for him is what I do for everybody, though.
Yes.
But he found it quite
Yes.
special. So we had a plan, and I
Mhm.
helped him improve his credit. That's not what I do, right? I don't help
Mhm.
people with their credit. But if I see
Mhm.
something when I pull somebody's credit that's looking to purchase a home, if I see something that perhaps that person can address without
Mhm.
any really having to pay money, because usually you got companies that charges for stuff like that, right? Well,
Yes.
90% of the time, you can do it yourself, right? So that's what I try to help people understand and teach them. Hey, you can do this yourself and save you a lot of money, right, in the process. And
Wow.
frankly, it's more
Yes.
effective when you do it yourself. So I helped
Yes.
them in about maybe 2 months, 3 months. Credit is back where it needed to be. And then he saved a little bit of money. He needed to have 3.5% down. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a lot of money, say if we're purchasing a home, say for 250,000. So
Mm-hmm.
he did buy a house for about 250, 275 in that ballpark. And it was a fourplex. So he bought a
Nice.
fourplex and
Yes.
he used, one of the units to stay in. The other 3 units, he rented those 3 units out. Well, instead of him making a mortgage payment every month, he was actually
Mm-hmm.
making extra money per month, right? We don't have to
Wow.
go deep into the math breakdown, but someone
Mm-hmm.
who's looking at, say, for example, you want to, well, in fact, this guy with the same story. About 3 years after that, he came back to me. Guess what he did? He bought another fourplex, right? So, and he used FHA financing to purchase it, right? So, and
Nice.
and with the
Yeah.
great thing with that, even though he didn't have a high income, we were able to
Mm-hmm.
use the rental income, right, from the other 3 units to give him that as income plus his regular employment income. So he was able to
Wow.
qualify. So he was able to keep those fourplexes, moved up to a bigger four units, right? More
Mm-hmm.
expensive. Now he bought another one for like I think it was like almost 400,000, right?
Wow.
Another fourplex.
Yes.
So now this guy has 8 units or 7 units because he still resides in one of them, right?
Second one. Yes.
Right. So he's not paying rent or a mortgage. In fact, he's collecting quite a bit of money every single month of his properties. So when we talk
Wow.
about building wealth, I think especially for our community, we have to figure out ways, right, where we
Mm-hmm.
can use the systems that are available to us, right? But
Yes.
see, the thing is, knowledge is power. We hear that all the time, but
Yes.
knowledge is
True.
also wealth, right? So if
Very
we
true.
understand better, we can invest better. So I think part of our job in our community, as we have the knowledge, is to spread that knowledge and make sure that other folks understand that them too can, have opportunities for financial growth.
That is
Yeah.
incredible. And honestly, from that story, I see why he says your slice of bread. He went from trying to get a home to now being a landlord in like 3 years. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and again, that's what I love about you. It's like you're not just one that's just going to be like, oh, okay, you can't qualify, come back in 3 months. You help them as far as you give out a blueprint. You let them know what they
Absolutely.
need to work on. So that way, when
Right.
they come back, they can have the opportunity to be approved for it. Like that's something that's huge, very vital.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Most people that we
Absolutely.
talk to, yeah, I worked in a credit union. The way that they work is exactly what you said. They'll be like, "Oh, okay, these are going wrong in your credit history. Go find someone who can help approve it, and
Right.
then from there you come back to us." Rather than like they made them pay more money to
Yeah.
find a way to get into a house rather than
Yeah.
do it on their own.
Absolutely.
And you're 100% right. Like Steph and I, we've been doing that on our own, and we see truly it's easy. You're just getting the statement, you're showing that you're paying
Yeah.
off these credit, like all these credit loans, and you're
Absolutely.
good. It's not
Yeah.
something that you need to pay somebody to do. You can do it all on your own.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
I,
when it comes to home ownership, I think we have a responsibility, right? Obviously all communities, right? But we have to
yes.
look at the communities that have a deficiency, if you will, when it comes to home ownership, where we in the negative versus in the positive. So how do we
Mm,
fix that? How do we help
yes.
people understand the process and understand the value of home ownership, right? And it's through education.
Mm,
So we do something that's
yes.
called first time home buyer workshop, right? I mean, we stopped it because of COVID, but we were doing
Hmm.
that pretty much, every quarter ish, right? Mainly I
Hmm.
would do it with a group of realtors in their offices, and then they'll bring their home, potential first time home buyers, and we do this, workshops to help educate
Nice.
people and really take the mistake, if you will, out of the process. Because a lot of
Yes.
time when people think about, oh my God, I got to go to the bank and get a loan, man, you get
Hmm.
scratching your head like, where do I start? You start having
Who
anxiety,
do I
right?
speak to?
Exactly. So we want to kind of take that aspect of it and
Hmm.
help folks understand that homeownership is something that's important for generational wealth, right? Right.
Yes.
And it's also important because if you own your house, or if you're in a neighborhood, for example, where you have a high percentage of home ownership, what you end up
Hmm.
having, you have a better school system, right? You have a
Wow.
better neighborhood because if you own something, you more likely would take care of it versus when you rent, right?
Very true.
So I think
Yes.
that's one way through home ownership, that we can kind of help our own community. So, but the way we do that, obviously, those who have the knowledge, we have to share it, we have to spread it. So this goes back to your
Yes.
point about, why we take the time to help people even when they are not fully either ready or qualified. Well,
Hmm.
if we just say, you know what, you don't qualify, and we
Yeah.
move on to the next person, perhaps that have that 800 credit score, that big job, that can
Yes.
easily qualify. Well, I think we're doing ourselves in our community at large a disservice, right?
True.
Because the
Very true.
same people who have low credit score and perhaps lower income, if we help them understand how to qualify, how to improve their credit, right, then
Hmm.
them too can become homeowners. Now, obviously, it's a win-win for everyone, right?
True.
We
Yes.
have a higher percentage of homeownership in our communities, and of course, it's financially rewarding for those who are giving those loans out too, right? So
Very.
it's beneficial all around.
Man, I love that. I love that. So you're not just looking at it as in the right now, you're looking at for the potential as well. So you're working on both aspects. And that really
Absolutely.
does help as far as in every area. Because now it's not just, okay, the right now I can do, but now you're also helping that potential that will come back because they saw that you helped them to be able to get to where they
Absolutely.
are. So they're going to be
Right.
more loyal, dedicated towards coming towards you than anybody else. Because like you said, the other
Yeah.
people just turned them down.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
see
Yeah.
I see a couple of people are already trickling into some questions. Junior, you want to answer some questions right now? You want to
Um,
wait till the end?
sure. So I apologize to everyone. This is my first, not Facebook, Instagram Live. All right.
It's a,
So
you're doing amazing. You
yeah.
look
So
more
I don't.
professional than I do, man.
So I don't even. I'm not sure where to see the question. So
I see him now,
oh,
so
there you go. Okay, I see him.
I'll read them to you. Pastor
Sure.
Josh was asking, is your establishment considering doing a workshop virtually? Ooh, good question.
A workshop, virtual workshop.
A
Is that what the
workshop
question?
virtually, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Rather through Zoom or through Teams or whatever method. In fact, we can even do it through a media such as this one, and help folks understand the process of home ownership. I would love to partner with. Is it Pastor Joshua? Oh, Pastor Fequiere.
Uh,
All right.
Pastor Fequiere,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. Yeah, I would love to do that. Absolutely.
That is beautiful. We have a question by your favorite cousin,
Yes.
Stephanie. She says,
Don't
"What do
say
you
that so
recommend?"
loud. I got the other ones
You're
going.
right. You're right. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'll just edit that part out.
Okay.
It says, "What do you recommend for people who want to get mortgage but are having trouble finding a house?" Ooh, great question.
That's a great question. So we do have a limited number of homes available for sale right now, and it's not just specific
Yes.
to South Florida. It's pretty much all over the country. In fact, Sam is in town visiting right now from Columbus, and he was telling me last
Hmm.
night that in Columbus, in particular, folks are doing what's called gap coverage. And what that is, it's pretty much where folks are going in. Let's say the value of the house is say 100,000. Folks are
Hmm.
committing 125, 120 to 150,000
Oh,
just to get that house. So if the appraised
wow.
value, say for example, came in at 100,000, the homeowner
Hmm.
who's buying it, they are willing to give in an extra 25 to 50 or whatever that number is to pay
Hmm.
over value for those homes because there is a lack of available homes right now. So what I would say for I mean to answer that question, Steph, a you can't be too picky right now, right?
Hmm.
In
True.
my humble opinion, I mean I don't have a crystal ball to see the future, but I don't see anything changing anytime soon, where it's going to be quote unquote a buyer's market. There are a few
Hmm.
factors for that. Specifically in South Florida, we have a lot of folks moving from out of state into Florida, South Florida. And what
Hmm.
that does, it increases home values, right? And you have a segment of our population, thank God, they are living a lot longer and they are healthier, right? Well, as a result
True.
of that, they are not leaving their homes, right, to go
Yeah.
either to live with their children, retirement communities, or nursing homes, right?
Mm.
But so what that does, then you have fewer homes that are available for sale. So the folks that are looking to become first-time home buyers, they can move on to those first-time home buyer, typically what would be a first-time home buyer property because those folks are staying in those homes. So
Man.
that's the challenge that you have. So you have to be willing
Yes.
to get pre-qualified as soon as
Mhm.
possible, right? Know what you can purchase for, know what your purchase power is, right?
Mhm.
Know how much money you need, right?
Mhm.
And once you have that, then you want to be as aggressive as possible, working with your realtor, sending them
Yes.
property, looking at the properties that they send you, and be willing to make an offer. If it's something that you like, say 80%, 70%, get it. You're not going to find out
Wow.
100%.
Wow.
And you
That
may.
is,
It's extremely
wow.
difficult, but you got to make a move. Now, once we start thinking
Yeah.
about purchasing our home, obviously you need shelter. Everybody needs shelter, right?
Yes. Yes.
But it's also a long-term investment in the sense that, say, 10, 15 years down the road, you built what's called equity, right, into your home. And that equity that you built, which is real money, right?
Yes.
You can finance your business. You can
True.
finance your kids' college, tuition. You can finance home remodeling. You can finance
Yes.
quite a bit of different projects, through your home, right? As
Mhm.
opposed to, not having the means to do it, or, accumulating heavy student loans. And we all know what that can do to
Yes.
someone's future plans,
I'm guilty.
right?
Yes.
so, so, so building a home is the best way to do it. So case in point, let's say you rent a house, right? We're going to use a very low number, $1,000 per month, right? Well, you're paying
Mhm.
$12,000 a year, right? Well, if you own
Yes.
a house, let's say you're paying the same amount, say $12,000, I'm sorry, per year, or 1,000 per month. Well,
Mhm.
a good portion of that do go towards interest. Now, if we understand interest a little bit, right now we pretty much borrowing money for free. Okay, rates are low.
Yes.
Now they went up
Mhm.
slightly, but it's lower than 2019, right? 2020 was
Yes.
just a very special year all around.
Yes.
So you're borrowing the money at a, almost for free, at a very, very low percentage. So even
Mm.
though you do have a bit that goes in that $1,000 number that goes towards the interest, a
Mhm.
good portion of it is going towards the principal balance, meaning that's the difference between the purchase price and the money that you put towards the purchase price. Let's say you put on 100,000, you put 5% down, for example, right? That's 5,000.
Mhm.
So your principal amount would be 95,000, right? So that
Mhm.
95,000, the monthly payment you're making at 1,000, a good portion of that is going towards that every month. So
Mhm.
if in 10 years, that 95,000 is now say 80 or 75,000, that's equity that you've built,
That you
just
get.
by
Wow.
paying down the mortgage, right, every month. Well, the
Yes.
principal plus the natural equity, the growth over time, that meaning the value of the house
Now you
as it
home.
increases over time. So those
Yes.
two numbers, you can go probably from buying a house at 100,000, now you're at 150, value, plus you already paid, say, X amount, say now you're at 75. Okay. So that's
Man.
25 plus 50. So you're $75,000 up, right? Now,
Wow.
this is not just me spitting numbers. I have folks
Yeah.
who have purchased in 2016,
Oh yes.
2017, who've seen
Yes.
about 150. I have one person who sold $220,000 net equity in their home over a period of about 4 years, right?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Now, I can't say that's going to
Goodness.
happen now, right? Because I don't know if it's
Mhm.
increasing as much, but that was, 2015, 2016 when that person purchased. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a
I
great
totally.
investment. Yeah.
I mean, it's a win-win situation because not only are you in a home, but you're also being able to build the equity, and as you said, you can even get more as the house value improves and gets bigger. So you're
Absolutely.
you're you're winning. You're winning on all ends. I know, like
Yeah.
how you're saying. That's what my parents did when they got their home. My mom, she liked it, but she wasn't necessarily in love with it. And then what they did was they borrowed against the equity, and from there, that's when they like remodeled the whole house. So that actually
Right.
they're able to pay that off, and they made the house value even more
Absolutely.
just by
Yes.
remodeling. So it's
Yeah.
something where even though it may not be a dream home now, it can be potentially. And as you
Yes.
said, like with all the things that you're doing to fixer uppers in the house, that's not more money that you're going to be getting because the value of the house just went up by another 20x dollars, 20,000 x dollars. So
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's
Yes.
amazingly said.
Hmm.
So or just to kind of keep it on the run as far as like if you can share any piece of advice with your younger self or the people who might be struggling the same issue like trying to find a home, like what would it be and why?
Man.
Loaded question, I know.
So I tell you this. The advice that I would give a younger guest. In fact, I would say even even about 15 years ago, I would say. I'm 40 now. Okay, I
Mhm.
just turned 40 in January. So the advice I would give my younger self is be easy on yourself. Just be easy
Mm.
on yourself.
Yes.
And to be completely honest with you, I think sometimes we set goals for ourselves, right? But we don't give
Yes.
ourselves the time. We don't give ourselves the space, to make mistake, right? We
Very true.
only right, so we only see the goal, and we want to get to that as quickly as possible. But I think the fun part is really in the process to the goal, right? It's in the
Ah,
that's where the fun really is, because once you get to the
I love
goal or
that.
whatever that you set for yourself, then what? Right? You're
True.
there? Right.
Yeah,
So,
you're
but
there, and that's
we
it.
yeah, we need to appreciate the process. I think that's where growth happen.
I love
I think that's where opportunity really rely. So because once you get to whatever that goal is, that can be it, right? Then we got to keep
that.
going, right? So,
Yeah.
but we just, so the advice to my younger self is be easy, man. It's all right. Enjoy the
Wow.
process. Yeah. Yeah, so
I
for anybody
love that.
who's listening, and need a piece of advice, now, or what you tell yourself before is, be easy on yourself, and be easy on yourself today.
True.
Just take it easy. It's gonna be all right.
I love that. And that's something that needs to preach more about. I remember that Proverbs where it's like every journey begins with a single step. And
Right.
it's 100% truth where we're so focused, as you said, on that end goal that we forget about everything that happened in the process. By the time we get there, it's like, okay, what's next?
Right. Yeah.
Rather than just enjoying the experience and enjoying life at the same time. So that's so
Right.
true. Like that's something that I have to keep teaching myself every single day so that way I'm not looking on to the next and not enjoying what's going on right now.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. The
Junior,
the
you're on a
mag
roll. You got a lot of, oh, go ahead.
the magic happened in the moment, man, and it's nowhere else. It's in the moment. So that's that's what happened. Yeah.
100% true. You still have a couple of questions coming in. There was another one by Stephanie. I'm just gonna say Stephanie. What does a full-time entrepreneur need to have a place to qualify for a mortgage loan?
One more time. So, someone who's self-employed, what
Yeah,
is it that they
what does
need
a
to?
full-time entrepreneur need to have a place to qualify for a mortgage
Oh, got
loan?
it. Okay. So, it's someone who's self-employed. Someone who's self-employed file taxes two ways, right? So they can file a business taxes rather through an 1120 or an
Hmm.
1120S, right? Or they can do what's called a Schedule C, right? So that's when they file their personal 1040, and then they have a Schedule C inside of that, right? So that also applies for someone who gets a 1099, right? And then, that's someone who's 1099 is also considered self-employed. So
Yes.
yeah, so what would need to have in place is if you do file a business return, you need that for 2 years typically, right? But if you've been
Hmm.
in business long enough and you have a decent enough credit score, you may just need 1 year, okay? And that's
Wow.
5 years or more. So if you've been self-employed for 5 years or more, and we can
Hmm.
verify the business, right? And typically through SunBiz or any other type of certificate you have
Yes.
for the business. In some instances, a CPA letter confirming that you've been self-employed for 5 years or longer, then you can
Hmm.
use 1 year tax return. And I'll explain in a second why that's important. But typically you need 2 years, right? And then,
Hmm.
and of course, you need your personal returns as well. So we use both. So we look at the business returns to see, obviously, the transaction that the business or the income rather the business is bringing in. Make sure that it's
Yes.
stable, right?
Hmm.
Because you don't want to have a year where you make 10,000, another year you make 100,000, right?
Yeah.
We'll work with that, but it's so we gotta make sure that it's stable, and then whatever the
Yes.
business makes. So if you, for example, file a 1120 or 1120S, we'll look at the bottom line. What's the business income, right? Obviously, it's a little bit more
Mm.
complicated as far as doing the numbers to figure out the exact number. It's not just the net income that you see. We have
Hmm.
a lot of other numbers that we have to consider. So we take that number. Let's say that number is, say, 15,000 or 200,000, whatever it is, and then we look at the
Hmm.
personal income on the 1040, right? Whether
Hmm.
you file a Schedule C or you don't, but at least your personal return. So we use those two incomes combined. If it's a loss from the business, let's say the loss is 10,000 on the business, and the personal is 100,000 income, right? Positive, and then 10,000 negative on the business, for example. Well, that net income that we're going to use is going to be 90,000, because whatever the loss or income for the business carries over to the personal, we combine those two. That's how we determine the qualifying income.
That's beautiful. That makes a lot of sense. So that way you can still be able to, even if you're doing negative on that end, if you're doing something on the positive, it just kind of combines. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah. So the benefit of using a 1-year return, though, is that you have some folks, let's say in 2019, for example, right? I have a business, and I wasn't planning on buying a house, right? And people do what they do in South Florida with their taxes. Or not just South Florida. I'm picking on South Florida, but
mainly South Florida, though. You're right. You're right. You're right.
So people sometimes don't have the business. They make a lot of money, right? And then they talk to a mortgage person, rather if it's a broker or mortgage banker or loan officer, whoever they speak with, and then now they decide to purchase a house, right? Well, obviously they want to make sure that they show enough income to qualify. So if that person, for example, say in 2020, make more income than they did in 2019, well, we want to focus on the 2020 income, because that's really what's going to help them. So we don't have to average to 2 years. So, but that only applied to someone who's been self-employed for 5 years or more, right? So if that person has been in business for 5 years or more, then we can use just 1-year tax return to qualify them, meaning the high income, right?
That's beautiful. And that's beautiful for a lot of people who might be watching, whether live or in the playback. If you're just starting off in your business, or if you already reached that 5-year mark, that's huge for us, because a lot of people within that first year, you're not going to see any type of return. You're not going to see any type of profit. But as your business grows, as things start to go upwards, then you can understand, like, hey, we're not going to start off with what you made initially. We're going to start off with what you're doing right now and the profits that you're doing. We have another question. This is by Arrow. He's asking, what is the process for getting approved for a construction loan?
Construction loans are very different than, say, if you were buying, an existing home. Now, there's pre-construction, there's construction, right? So are we referring to pre-construction?
Let's say pre-construction. Yeah, let's go with pre-construction for now.
So we don't do pre-construction. My company, we don't do pre-construction loans, right? But the process is it's typically this way, right? Where you would pretty much either purchase the land, right? Because the two are separate. So you can purchase the land, and then you can use the land as collateral to finance the project. So let's say the land is worth $10,000, and you want the loan for $100,000. Well, if you already own the land, that's 10% already, right? So you can use that as your 10%, right, towards the loan or the construction of the property, right? Then you're going to finance 90, because you already have the 10%, the land, right? Right. So, but it's not all at once, right? It's as the project go, and then the bank fund, the project, usually in 3 or 4 portions, right? Now, if someone is looking at buying let's say you go to a builder, for example, like a Lennar, let's use that as an example, or a Toll Brother, or whoever the builder is. Well, the builder would have you put down, say, X amount, right? Usually 10%, usually. So let's say you put 10%, same math. So you put 10% down, and you go to any bank or any mortgage person, I want a loan. So the process is exactly the same as if you were buying an existing home, even though the property may not have been constructed yet, right? So they would pre-qualify you for the home, and then the closing only happen in this instant when the property is finished, complete, right? You have what's called you have what's called occupancy. I can't remember the term, but where the property is complete, right? And then you can move in, and then the builder then would, set everything up, and then you go to closing. So that process is exactly the same as buying a regular home or an existing home, except you don't have the finance probably 6 months down the line. Now, the key here is we do have programs where you can lock your interest rate, in some instances, even 6 to 9 months out. Okay. Now it's a little bit higher, right?
Mhm.
But it is something that is available for
Man,
those type of loans. Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
man, we're getting too many gems right now. I saw Tisha, she said I should be taking notes right now, right? I should be doing the same thing. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it multiple times. No, but we don't want to take too much of your time. So like for more questions that's gonna be coming in, like in closing, like how can people connect with you, find out more about you, or try to get to work with you?
Yeah, I mean, of course, people can always reach out to me here. I do have another Instagram. I don't remember the account, but it's supposed to be for this type of stuff. But honestly, I don't remember it. But you can use this one. This is my
Yes.
personal. We do have a Facebook page, and I can send that, and you can probably put that out for the
Yes, we'll do.
playback. But
Mhm.
you can reach out to me again here. You can reach me at my office, which is 954-840 um, 8007. So it's 954-840-8007, 8007. Or you can email me at gflorant at getevolved.com. So that's gflorant
Yes.
at getevolved.com.
Man, Geza, that's what I love about you is like how personable you are. Most people be like, oh yeah, just get in contact with our receptionist and from there you get in contact. You're giving your actual number and your actual, so people can know how to get to you directly. I
Of
mean,
course.
again, guys, if you're watching whether live or the playback, what more can I say? Like, how else can you not know to work with Gesner? Because he's giving you the actual keys, he's giving you the benefits, and this is all for free right now that he's giving you these gems. And he's letting you know how to get in contact with them for more information that you may have. So I
Absolutely.
promise you, I can vouch. This is the guy that you want to work with. Even if it's something where you can't get the house now, here at least give you a blueprint on how to do it in the future. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much for your
Yeah.
time.
You're
I
very
mean, I
welcome.
can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I
look,
can't
I
thank
tell
you
you
enough.
this. Yeah, I say this and before we go, and I think it's important for people to understand this. Um, this
Mm,
information should always be for free, right? There should
true.
never be a charge, for someone to help you get a mortgage. If someone were to say, "Hey, give me X amount so I can help you obtain a loan," run away. Okay, A, that's illegal, and B, I think the service should always be for free. We don't charge anything at all. We don't charge a dime for a consultation. We don't charge a dime for credit report. We don't charge a dime for me to look at your income and get you going. You can say, "Hey, Gesner, thank you for helping me, but I'm going to go with my own bank." You're welcome to do that, right?
Yeah.
You can choose whatever path you want. I think the key and the most important thing for us is making sure that we increase the number of home ownership in our community. I think that's really what's important, at least to
Yes.
me. So
Yes.
if I can play any role in even pushing the number by 1%, I'm very satisfied.
That is wonderful, and I
Yeah.
can't say more. We have again Stephanie. She says Gesner helped both my mom and my sister with their mortgage loans, and he made the process so much more attainable, which is true. Like you were able to make it lower where they were paying a percentage. You're like, no, 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 that's
Right.
incorrect.
Right.
I
That's
can't tell
right.
you how much they rave
Yeah.
about you. So every time we already
Thank
know we're
you.
coming to you because, like everyone always says, like, yes. He will help you the right way, and that's really what it is. So many people, they're just looking as far as for a quick buck, something they can do for free, they'll charge you for. So
Right.
exactly what, as Gavin said, if you can get the information and they're telling you to charge, run away from them.
That's
Go to
right.
someone who's going to try to help you and try to give you
Right.
a consultation for free.
Right.
So, I mean, that is beautifully. So before we always ever close, we always like to just do a closing of a prayer.
Sure.
Now, this is called a sinner's prayer for anyone who may not know Christ. Like, again, I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. A lot of us out there who might be going through things in life and we feel as if we're all alone. I just want to let you know that you are not. There are things that happens to each and every one of us, and it's always for like a testimony in the end. Not only just to bless your heart, bless your spirit, but to bless the people around you. So if you feel empty or alone and you feel like you just can't do it alone, please. It's a simple prayer that I say so that way you guys will be able to accept Christ as your Lord and Savior. And it just goes, Lord Jesus, I repent of my sins. I ask you into my heart. I make you my Lord and Savior. In Jesus' name, amen. And amen. Is that quick, that
Amen.
simple? You are now
Awesome.
in the kingdom. Your name is written in the kingdom of God, so that way it will never be taken away. Please find a Bible-based church right now virtually. As we were just saying with the pandemic, you want to do everything virtually until you're able to go back into the churches. But I mean, before we close out or anything like that, guys, anything else you want to say, any other information? I know not only are you a wonderful mortgage banker, but this guy, when I say like the next E.T. Thomas, this guy, I mean, every time I leave the phone with you, you can ask Steph, every time I leave the phone, I'm just motivated. I'm hyped to go work because you always get me in that mode, that range. So any books, anything coming out soon?
Well, that's what Steph gonna have to. But no, I'm just so thankful, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And you know, you and Stephanie, you guys are always on my corner. My wife, my daughter. So I'm just so grateful to have you guys, you know, in my life. And I thank you so much for the opportunity and allow me to be part of your platform. So thank you for that.
No, my absolute pleasure. I'm certain that many people are going to be asking more about you. So I'm like, down the road, we're going to have you on. You just, you know, go again as far as all this information, because this is so many gems that you drop that I'm learning as we're going on, and I have to go back and watch this, like, for sure. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
Next week we're going to have, his name is Errol Joseph. He is a photographer and he's soon to be real estate agent. So next week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. right? It's so beautiful when it's in that aspect, because now you know this person is not going to be like taking pictures of the floor of the house. They actually know how to show the whole house. On Zillow, we see these pictures of just the bathroom, and all it's showing is just the mirror. So if you have an actual expert in photography that's taking these pictures, they'll be able to show you the whole house and give you an aspect of how to be able to look at the picture and know what's correct and what's not correct. So, I mean, you guys don't want to miss it. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Just as Gesner, this guy is very down to earth. Errol is amazing, a friend of mine. So please join us next Tuesday. Again, Gesner, thank you so much. Tamika, thank you everybody for joining on. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you all. Again, I'll be putting all the information under the YouTube video. This will be posted on Saturday, no later than 2 p.m. I'll put all of your information on there, Gesner, so people can get in contact with you.
Of course. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and be blessed.
My pleasure. God bless, brother. God bless everybody. You guys all take care. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye-bye.
See, I'm going to call this one right here Triumph.